What's up, YouTube fragrance family and friends? Tommy with Studio Sins here. Welcome to another day and another brand new fragrance for men. We seem to be on a roll, so we might as well run with it. This time we've got a brand new fragrance from the designer Carolina Herrera. Carolina Herrera definitely has a catalog of great men's fragrances. Today we're going to be talking about a flanker of the Bad Boy fragrance line. Now, if you're not familiar with the Bad Boy line, I will be listing each one of them below so that you can click on it, check them out, and even purchase them if you want to. The Bad Boy fragrance line is known for their lightning bolt presentation, very eye-catching. The last Bad Boy fragrance was Superstar, the silver lightning bolt, or I guess you could say silver and black. It's a great redo of the DNA, but today we're going to be talking about a new flanker, Bad Boy Cobalt Eau De Parfum Électrique. So when we return, we're going to go over this brand new Carolina Herrera flanker. That and more is coming your way, so stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone. Today we're talking about a brand new Carolina Herrera fragrance. I gotta say, I really like Carolina Herrera as a designer. She takes an idea, polishes it, stays true to it, and usually does a pretty good job in terms of representation. So today's fragrance is that lightning bolt that we all know and many of you love. I myself am a fan of the Bad Boy line of fragrances, and we're going to take a closer look at Bad Boy Cobalt, or again, Bad Boy Cobalt Eau De Parfum Électrique. Although we know it's a lightning bolt, let's take a closer look at that presentation and note the differences. The Bad Boy Cobalt box is black with a dark blue band around near the bottom. Bad Boy Carolina Herrera New York is in white, and then Cobalt is in gold. It is an Eau De Parfum concentration 100 ml bottle. The sides of the box contain no information. On the back of the box, there's the Carolina Herrera website with the CH logo. Bottom of the box is the ingredients listing, the address, batch code, UPC, the stickers, the QR code. On the very top of the box, you've got the little C inside the large H, which is the Carolina Herrera logo in gold. The bottle is a glass lightning bolt with a blue gradient that starts out light at the top and gets darker near the bottom, which is the apex of the lightning bolt, where it would actually figuratively strike the ground if it were real. The metal stand that it's sitting on is a polished black, and on its base it says Carolina Herrera New York. Below the aperture where the fragrance comes out when it's sprayed is the Carolina Herrera logo in gold. The entire top is the atomizer pump that you depress, and it is black and plastic. On the very bottom of the metal stand, it says Bad Boy Cobalt Eau De Parfum Électrique, 100 ml, 3.4 fluid ounces, along with an address. I'm a fan of gradients anyway, and I really think it's cool to see a gradient on a lightning bolt, starting out transparent, going to darker blue, and of course cobalt is a blue color. So I don't really know what to expect about this one. I haven't really studied the note breakdown or anything, but I am very curious. I love the presentation. It's going to look great sitting beside the silver and the black. So I really like that presentation. Let's talk a little bit about the note breakdown. What are the notes that make up Bad Boy Cobalt Eau De Parfum Électrique? Bad Boy Cobalt Eau De Parfum Électrique by Carolina Herrera features top notes of pink pepper and lavender, with heart notes of Egyptian geranium and black plum, resting on a base of truffle, vetiver, cedarwood, and oak. So this sounds like it's going to be an energizing fragrance full of contrasting notes. Now, contrasting notes support one another, but they also create kind of a fusion or a confusion of contrasts and juxtapositions and counterpoints. We know we've got pink pepper and lavender in the open, so it's going to be peppery, spicy, and fresh. That freshness continues into the heart with Egyptian geranium, but then we get an interesting note of black plum. Plum is an interesting note in fragrance because it doesn't do the same thing in every fragrance. It does its own thing depending upon how well it works with the notes around it. And then in the base, it gets even more interesting with truffle. And then we've got vetiver and two kinds of woods, cedar wood and oak, which are both very supportive wood notes. They're not predominant. So it's going to be interesting to see what this smells like. Let's go ahead and check out that juice. Being that it's such an unusual presentation, you would think that it'd be hard to spray, but it is not. It's super simple. All you have to do is, even though the entire top of this is actually the atomizer pump, you just put your forefinger on the edge and it will pump just as easily. Check this out. I'll prime it first. Yeah, right there. Boom. You do have to push down on it pretty hard, and it shoots pretty far away with a good 3 to 4 inch. Actually, this is a tighter radius, and that's what I like about this pump. So it's a bit of a tighter radius with about 2 inches in circumference, and I really like that. That means you can hold this a fair distance from your skin, your pulse points, wherever you want to spray it, your clothes. It will still douse that area really good. There's a cool, refreshing character about this that's also a bit sweet. So it's very interesting, and the contrast in the notes are kind of causing that cool, sweet freshness to pop, meaning a little bit effervescent to a degree. I really like that. I really like that. Lavender can be across the board, top, mid, base, doesn't matter, but it's usually found in the heart or the base of a fragrance because it's kind of a heavy hitting note. It's in a lot of men's fragrance, the majority I would say. So the fact that it's in this open is interesting to me because it's working real well with the pink pepper, and that's what's causing the contrast. So there's a rich lavender, but that pink pepper boosting that up similarly to the way that ginger does citrus notes. There's not a ton of black plum that I'm picking up on this. The contrast that the pink pepper and lavender is creating is kind of overshadowing the other notes. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to spray it on skin, and that's going to open it up quite a bit, and I'll give you guys a better idea of what I think of the fragrance. What's interesting about this fragrance is it doesn't immediately bring you to a state of familiarity. It's almost like seeing a building from the fog. You're quite certain it's your home. You can see it through the fog, but it's not distinct enough yet. And that's kind of what these notes are doing right now. But as time goes on, they're going to open up more and we'll be able to see what they're featuring. Now I can get that geranium a bit in the heart. What's interesting about truffle and using black plum and truffle together in a fragrance is they both work off each other because black plum is a fruit and truffle, it kind of creates a fruity, lightly chocolatey, it almost kind of reminds me a little bit, almost kind of reminds me of Maninka fruit without it being dusty, because Maninka fruit can smell like a little bit like strawberries, a little bit like chocolate. Truffle can very similarly smell like a fruit, not like strawberry, but more like plum, something like plum, or a little bit like grape. Something that's just a little bit more rich and dense, and a little bit like chocolate as well. So it's giving that weight, that density, that lightly chocolatey and fruity sensation. It's a very rich, very refined kind of fruit, not a citrusy or playful or overly sweet kind of fruit. It's almost like a black tie affair for fruit. Great combination. Wasn't expecting that. You think it's just going to be a basic blue fragrance, but there's some nuance there. A multifaceted kind of fragrance. Even though it's got a refined quality, it does feel like to me it's going to be mostly best utilized in casual situations. So it's going to be a nice blue casual fragrance, but it is a bit unique, and because it's unique, it can be worn as a signature scent. Now this one, because it does have some intelligent, multifaceted qualities, it can be worn in almost any kind of weather. That fruity, lightly chocolatey overtones gives it a nice cool weather capability for cooler weather, and then the pink pepper and the lavender and that bright, very fresh, very contrasting open is going to be really nice for spring and summer. As an Eau De Parfum, it is going to sit closer to the skin. My only concern is, like with most fragrances, is performance. I don't know how this is going to perform. It's got a relatively unique fragrance. The open smells amazing. It projects really well. When it starts drying into the heart and into the dry down, it does recede a bit, but it's still projecting really well off my arm. So in terms of projection, I have no complaints about this fragrance. In terms of having a respectable longevity, that's something that I'll have to hold off on until I actually can test it and give you guys a full review. As an Eau De Parfum, I don't think it's going to struggle with longevity, but the contrasts of the fragrance are really its caveat. I think that's what's really going to carry it home. It's going to be its claim to fame because it creates that, like, even within the projection, you've got those contrasts going on, and it It's interesting to your nose, your olfactive sense. It captures it. Your olfactive sense, and thus your imagination. And I think it's going to be a great fragrance to grow with and see how far you can push the versatility. But I'm looking forward to wearing it more in these cooler days and the cooler days of spring, and as the weather starts warming up as well, and seeing just how well it does in warmer weather. Right now, Cobalt comes in two sizes, 100 ml and 150 ml. If you want to opt for the 5.1 ounce, that is $139 retail, and it is $110 retail for the 100 ml bottle. It is available at Macy's and other department stores. I'll leave a link below so that you can check that out. And if you're interested in purchasing, it'll take you right to the page to do so. Is it worth the price of admission? I think this is a relatively unique fragrance. The fact that it's got truffle and black plum, unique characteristics of these fragrant notes. Oftentimes you'll see them more in niche quality fragrances. I'm really happy to see Carolina Herrera using them in a mass appealing kind of compliment pulling fragrance, because I do think that you'll be able to get compliments with Cobalt Eau De Parfum Électrique. Well guys, that's it for my unboxing and first impression. I really like Bad Boy Cobalt, and I think that you'll probably like it too if you check it out. Definitely sample it first. I do think it's definitely going to be worth owning, especially if you like the Bad Boy line, because it's very unique and very different, and it doesn't really have that Bad Boy DNA with the exception of that pink pepper. Thanks though for stopping by, checking out today's video. As always, thank you so much for your support on my channel. I'm Tommy with Studio Sense, and I'll see you tomorrow.